It's time for double game week 25 and my team selection with some big injuries to important players. It looks like I'm being forced to use my free transfer, and we're going to discuss exactly what my plans are going into the weekend, as well as discussing whether I am triple captaining Erling Haaland. So as always, please do consider dropping a like. In for 400 on this video. I know you legends can do that, and of course make sure you do smash that subscribe button. So without chatting anymore, let's get into today's video. So first up, as always, a quick review on how I got on in game week 24, and it was a fantastic game week. 88 points. The two transfers that I made, selling Gordon and Solanke for Jota and Darwin, paid off, and it was an 80k green arrow to 142k. We are on the right track, and I still think I can get into that top 10k. I know it's a ridiculous kind of goal, but I do think we can get there. So just a quick overview on the team. Dubravka, the goalkeepers are just woeful this season, and it continues with that Newcastle defence. The back three, Gabriel saving the team. Trent going off at halftime, and we need to talk about him because the recent quotes do sound like he's going to be ruled out for double game week 25 and potentially the Carabao Cup final. So we really don't have a clear indication at the time of recording on how long Trent is going to be out. But with his price point at 8.5 million, it is just too much money sat in the team to keep him for a number of game weeks. So we're going to discuss my plans for Trent, but right now he is yellow flagged and a major doubt for the weekend. Gabriel, as I mentioned, carrying the team, and Pedro Porro with that 2-pointer. He has been awful the last few weeks, and he's also now yellow flagged. We've got a quote here from Paul O'Keefe, a very trusted Spurs reporter, and it does say that he could be a doubt for the weekend because of a muscular injury. So obviously the quotes on the screen here, we're going to need Postecoglou's press conference today to get an official update, but if he is out, then it means my transfer is definitely forced going into double game week 25. The midfield were the big winners this week, with obviously Palmer with a 10-pointer, Saka and Diogo Jota. And up top, Haaland delivering the goods with the captaincy with that 26-pointer. Saliba sat on the bench with 12 points. But look, I'm really happy with the game week. Now I need to address the injuries in my defence, and I think I need to make a transfer for Trent Alexander-Arnold. So looking at the best Trent Alexander-Arnold replacements for my team, I've got a slide up here taken from my preview video. Make sure you do check it out because I've gone really into depth on the best Trent replacements from both Liverpool and other teams. But I thought I'd put this slide up here because I know I own Gabriel, but I think it'll be relevant for everybody watching right now if you were a Trent owner. Now, first up, I do think just rolling the transfer is definitely a consideration for FPL managers out there. However, for my team, with the potential Pedro Porro injury, and if it does sound like he's a doubt, I literally have no defender coming in. And with a double game week, if I put in a position where I only play 10 players, that is an absolute disaster. Especially when there's going to be some managers out there not only playing 11 players, but maybe 6 or 7 double game weekers as well. So that isn't an option, especially when I've got somebody like Trent who's definitely not going to play and taking up so much money. So I feel like my hand is forced this game week unless we get a positive update regarding Pedro Porro. I think Ake is the man for me. Now, I don't love it because it looks like he is going to blank in game week 29. But again, there isn't no guarantees about that. And sometimes I think we look maybe a little bit too far in the future. Ake, with the injuries to Gavardiol, I personally think is going to get solid game time over the next few game weeks. And you can see double in 25, I think he starts those, a game in 26. Then it gets a little bit trickier in game weeks 27 and 28. But looking at my team in the future, I think I could just easily bench him over that period. I think for the next 2 game weeks, he is a fantastic option for the team. It frees up loads of money as well to invest elsewhere. And importantly, it just gets me a double game weeker who I think is going to start both of those games. So I think all 3 of these are good. Region was a consideration, but again, do I expect a clean sheet in either of his double? No. Do I see many clean sheets over the foreseeable future? No. The only good thing about him is that he's playing as a wing back, and importantly, he has a game in every single game week, even in game week 29. So that's really important if you're long-term planning. But again, I just want to look at the fixtures that we have in front of us right now. If you don't have an Arsenal defender, I think that's the route to go for right now. But if you're in a position like myself where I've got double Arsenal and a doubt with Pedro Porro, then I think Ake is just the obvious move to give yourself guaranteed 3 defenders playing in double game week 25. Okay, so moving into my game week 25 team selection video, we're going for Dubravka between the sticks. There was a little bit of thought about maybe doing Dubravka to an Alisson or somebody to give myself an additional fixture this game week, especially if I do plan on selling Trent, but I just don't think it is worth it for a -4. I know Newcastle have been terrible defensively, but I just can't really justify the transfer. So I'm starting Dubravka over Areola. I just think Nottingham Forest at home aren't too bad, and I probably do expect them to score against a West Ham defence that conceded 6 against Arsenal last game week. Moving into defence, you can see there is a potential new boy into the back three. I haven't made the move yet because, of course, it's Friday. I want to see the press conferences, especially by Klopp regarding Trent and by Pochettino regarding Pedro Porro. That was a bit of a tongue tease. But if we do get negative news on Porro, I think selling Trent to Ake makes a lot of sense. It gives me the double, a guaranteed player for at least one of those fixtures. I get to play both of my Arsenal, and importantly, I get to keep Porro, who is sat on my bench. Now, people might be sat there thinking, Nacho, get rid of him. He doesn't play this week. He'll blank in game week 26. But if I'm long-term planning, Porro has a guaranteed fixture in game week 29. So I think Trent is much more of a desperate sell in my team than that of Pedro Porro. He can then be benched in game week 26 and then hopefully, if he is fit, come back into my team for game week 27 up until game week 30 where a potential wildcard will be activated. So Ake makes loads of sense for my team. Might be different for yours, but I think it makes a lot of sense for mine. So that is the obvious transfer for me, but I'm going to wait for the press conferences for a bit more information. Now, moving into the midfielders, obviously I've got Diogo Jota with the double game week and Phil Foden. Those guys are just absolutely locked in for this game week. They are perfectly fine. And the same is going to apply for Bukayo Saka. Yes, he has a single game week, but it's away against Burnley, which is fantastic. And also, Arsenal look really good right now and also play in blank game week 26. So he is absolutely locked in. The only deliberation that I had this game week is two things. One, do I sell Cole Palmer? You can see him first on my bench right now away against Man City. Now, there was a world where I was planning maybe do a -4. Trent down to somebody like a Mengi at Luton in defence at 3.9. And then upgrading Cole Palmer to Kevin De Bruyne, which is definitely a potential transfer for my team that would require a -4. It will give me double game week Kevin for this week and also him in game week 26. I'd also have a Luton defender that I could play in double game week 28. So that one makes a lot of sense for my team. The only problem is it doesn't help me really with game week 26 because I'll be bringing in a Luton defender who blanks. So I'll still need to make another move in game week 26. So it's another transfer, another hit to my team, which isn't really ideal. And also, is it just forcing somebody in my team like De Bruyne where it just isn't necessary? Do I think De Bruyne could do amazing this game week? Absolutely. If I could own him, I will. For a -4, I just don't think it is worth it for my team. It would mean I'll then bench Garnacho. And I actually do think away against Luton, that's actually quite a nice differential for this game week. I don't necessarily think Man United are going to win the game, but I think Garnacho could be a really nice alternative and a single game weeker for my team. So even though I'd love De Bruyne, I think I'm going to stick with the midfield that I have. And benching Palmer could be controversial, but with a lot of people selling him, I feel a bit more confident benching him, knowing that his ownership is going to be a bit less than what it previous was, and just pray Garnacho steps up in that Luton game. But that one could change last minute, and of course make sure you are subscribed because I will update you if I do make any last minute changes on my deadline live stream. Moving into the forwards, I think we have no problems here whatsoever. Erling Haaland with a double game week at home against Chelsea and at home against Brentford. Now, there has been the news about his grandmother passing. Now, that's really sad. And of course, as FPL managers, we become really selfish and start asking, is he going to miss the double? Unless Pep comes out in the press conference and says anything other than Haaland is not available, then we can look elsewhere as a potential captaincy. We're not going to sell him. I think he'll be fine for the double game week. But of course, we do need to monitor the press conferences just to be on the safe side. Watkins away against Fulham, not the best player in this game week because he doesn't double, but long term we know Watkins is really important. A fantastic game in blank game week 26 and a guaranteed fixture in game week 29. So Watkins stays in the team and Darwin Núñez for one more game week will stay in my team with a double. Don't know what I'm going to do after this game week, but we can plan with that later down the line. For this game week, there's no world that I'm selling Darwin Núñez, and I just pray that he gets at least 120 minutes, because I do think he could do really well with the fixtures that they do have. So that's the starting 11. Let's have a quick discussion on triple captaincy. So of course, being a double game week, and I've spoken about it in my previous videos, triple captaincy is always going to be a temptation. Now, a lot of people are saying, is it the best time? Should I use it another time? For me, if you have a Man City forward like Erling Haaland, who's averaging 0.99 XG per 90, has a double game week, both of those at the Etihad, I don't think we overthink it. I think you go for Erling Haaland this game week. A lot of people are asking, when else could you do it? Game week 28 is a possibility with Dominic Solanke, but I just think we don't overthink it. Haaland, one of the best forwards in the league, playing for one of the best teams in the league with 2 home games. Get it done. Triple captaincy is probably the least powerful chip of all of them. So I think when you have an opportunity to use it, don't overthink it. Get it done, because I think it will cause problems later on in the season. If you try and wait on for game week 37, which will be a big double, and you're sat there with a bench boost as well, you're in a big problem, because you're then going to want to use the bench boost rather than the triple captain. So I actually think it's sometimes a hindrance holding on your triple captain too long. I think we get it done this week, and I am 100% doing it unless news comes out that Haaland is travelling back for his grandmother's funeral, for example. So he's going to be the triple captain. Vice captaincy currently on Diogo Jota. That is the team. Trent Alexander-Arnold to Ake as my free transfer, unless we get positive news on Pedro Porro. Then I could be tempted to roll the transfer. Yes, guys, okay, that is going to wrap up today's double game week 25 team selection video. Really hope to provide some value. As always, I will be doing a deadline live stream tomorrow morning, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel, as I will be going through my final team in case anything does change post press conferences. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider dropping a like, smashing that subscribe button. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section, and I will see you on tomorrow's deadline live. Take care. Cheers.